Janeway, Spock's beard, Lorca's acting very weird. Captain Pike, Sisko's wife, Klingons and the afterlife. Boimler, Tendy's dog, Ransom is very hard. Spore Drive, Black Alert, Giorgio has gone berserk. Feature Batleth, Edward is an idiot, Spock is dead, Worf is wed, Chekhov's wearing red. Data's cat, Kempak's stat, Q has had enough of that. Beam me up, make it so, everybody let's go. We talk about the series. You can join us live by picking up your phone now. We talk about the series. We're coming to you on your streaming services now. We talk about the series. Comics, books, and games, we go beyond the show now. We talk about the series. Come and join us as we sit and chat and we go on and on and on and on.
Well, good evening, Trekkies and Trekkers around the globe. It is Thursday, April 24th, 2025. Welcome to episode number 633 of Trek Talking. By the way, we have a new name. Well, we don't have a new name. We have an old name that has come back to us. We used to be Trek Talking and Beyond. And when when CBS All Access came along and later became Paramount Plus, we had a plethora of new Star Trek. We had almost new Star Trek every single week for well over a year. Well, that's not the case anymore. And with only 10 episodes of Strange New Worlds to deal with and 10 episodes of Starfleet Academy at some future date, we decided that it's time to go back to our old format, and we readopted the name of Star Trek, Trek Talking and Beyond. And what does that mean to you guys? That means that starting next week, we're going to be reviewing the new Star Wars Andor Season 2 episodes, Episode 1, 2, and 3 next week. And we're still going to continue with all of our great Star Trek coverage. I'm still working on getting actors on the show. We're still going to be doing our comic corner. The only difference is going to be that we're going to be doing a little bit more sci-fi stuff and not strictly Star Trek. So you can go over to our Facebook page, which is Trek Talking and Beyond, and find all that information over there. Before we get started, though, I'd like to go around and introduce my awesome Trek experts to you guys. We'll start off with Eric. Eric is out in Portland. How you doing tonight, Eric?
Doing pretty good, man. I got a little temp background up here just because I'm doing a little cleaning, a little rearranging around here. Hope to have the toys back up next week. But I thought I'd offer you a little bit of poetry from my Hetty Alice here. As the trouts rise and the larks sing, oh, what joy does the IPA bring? There you go. Cheers.
Now recite that in its original Klingon.
Let's be clear. I'll speak Klingon.
And we also have with us from Las Vegas our very own Charles. How you doing tonight, Charles?
I'm doing good. For the fans who get to see this live, yes, I do have palm trees out, and they are waving a bit. But
we love waving palm trees.
The weather just was too nice to want to be inside.
I understand that. Absolutely. And we also have back from Portland our very own David. He's our miracle worker on the show. How you doing tonight, David?
I'm doing pretty good. It's getting really hot over here, though. Oh man.
Yeah, I know. It was real hot here. It was breaking 70. Wow.
Intense.
That is pretty intense. And let's swing. Let's hang out in Portland and say hello to our very own toy guy. And of course, I'm talking about Paul. How you doing tonight, Paul?
Hey, man, I'm doing all right. You know, if you're ever in doubt and you need a reliable weather forecast, this is your program, right? It's like we seem to always cover the weather in excruciating detail. So,
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, binds us all together. It is the force, right? So,
yeah, well, that's true. We all live on the planet where we have weather.
Eric, are you sporting new eyewear today, Eric? Do I notice this?
Well, usually I have the ones that are kind of clear on the bottom, and today I'm just wearing the all black ones, so they may look a little bit heavier, a little bit more prominent than normal. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for noticing, man.
Nothing gets by me. So
it's true. I tried to sneak them in, and no chance.
He's as sharp as a marble, you know. So I also wanted to point something else out to you guys that you may or may not be aware of. We are currently broadcasting live on Facebook.
What? Really?
Yes,
I had
yes.
no idea.
Hold on, I gotta
awesome,
call my
guys?
lawyer real quick.
I had to let you guys know last week I did it by accident. Remember, I got disconnected and I froze up and I disappeared, and it took me a while to get back. Well, when I came back, we were live on Facebook, and I was like, how the hell did I do that? So now now we are currently going live on Facebook, so anybody that's on our Facebook page can click on that live link and can actually be watching us right now. I'm not sure if they'll be able to.
Watching?
I don't know if they'll be able to interact with us, but they can watch the show live on Facebook, which is pretty cool.
Crazy.
All right. Anyways, you guys can visit trektalking.com and you can find out all kinds of great stuff over there. We are currently looking for a new co-host because we got 5 white guys here. So, we're looking for somebody to add a little bit of, diversity to here, some DUI kind of stuff. Preferably a female would be nice. Yeah, driving under the influence.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
So, and actually, my daughter Jamie, who used to be with us when we were Trek Talking and Beyond, is getting into this Andor series with me, and she wants to come on next week when we start talking about Andor.
I thought I'm excited on tonight.
No, we're not doing. She's not much of a Star Trek fan. Okay, I hate to say that, but
wow.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
So we're back.
No, I know that's it. I'm trading her in. But
parental confessions, you've heard it here, folks.
She is looking forward to talking about Andor, and she's been posting all kinds of stuff in our online chat. So she wants to come on next week to talk about Andor. If you would like to be a co-host on this show and join us, please head over to trektalking.com, and in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a little green talkback mic. Click on that mic and record us a message. And, if we like it, if it's cool, then you might get an email from yours truly, Uncle Jim, inviting you to come on and join my awesome plethora of Treksperts on a show. So please do that if you're interested. While you're there, you can also click on the link to Patreon, and you can go over there and join Patreon and help support this podcast for only $2. Not a big deal. You can afford that. $2. It's less than a cup of coffee, for God's sake. It's less than an egg, for God's sakes.
True.
So head over there and help us out with the $2. If you don't want to become a patron, you can also find a link there to PayPal where you can donate whatever you'd like. So please do that if you can. And without any further ado, let's dive into tonight. Tonight we're going to be talking about the evil admirals of Star Trek. That's my evil Peter Vincent laugh from Thriller. Well, I try to be anyways. We also have our fan shoutouts where we thank all the fans around the world, just like you that are listening right now. We have our Star Trek polls. Was decommissioning the Enterprise a good choice? And what about stealing warp coils? Are you guys into that? You think that's a cool thing? We're going to talk about that on our Star Trek polls. And what Star Trek actor do you share a birthday with? You can find out on our Star Trek birthdays section. And what's going around in Star Trek universe this week? We have Strange New Worlds updates, and the Doctor talks about Starfleet Academy. So that's what we're going to be talking about. As I already stated at the top of the show, head over to Trek Talking and Beyond. You will see a pinned post of Live Long and Prosper at the top of the page. Click on that post. Tell us where you're listening from. Look for a heart next to your name from yours truly, Uncle Jim. Leave lots of emojis. That gets my attention. And then your name will be mentioned in a future fan shout out. So, Eric, would you like to get us started with our fan shout outs for this week?
I absolutely would. We are going to start where we often start, just across the pond over there in the UK. And we're going to say hello this week to Terry Anthony, who's saying hello to us from Norfolk, England. Thanks for saying hey, Terry. I hope you're listening right now. I hope you're having a good time. Hope you're having a good day. I hope the weather there is good because we like to talk about that. Thanks, Terry. Also saying hello this week to Jorge Gonzaga Fio who is saying hello to us from Rio de Janeiro down in Brazil, South America, man. We've got a lot of support down in Brazil. It's kind of cool because I feel like just about every week I get to say hello to somebody from Brazil. And it's one of those places I would love to visit someday. So Jorge Gonzaga Filho, I hope you are also having a good day and live long and prosper to you. Hello as well this week to Alice Confalnieri, who's saying hello to us from Italia, and she's waving that Italian flag very proudly. You know, the first time I was ever in Italy was when they won the World Cup in 2006. That was something else, man. That town knows how to, well, Rome, I'm sure all the towns in Italy, but Rome in particular knew how to party. So Alice, thanks for saying hello to us. We really appreciate your support. And last on my list, I'd like to say hello this week to Dietrich Kerner, who's saying hello to us from New Hanover, Germany, right there in the center of Europe. Dietrich Kerner, thanks for saying hello to us. And I hope that you think our podcast is ausgezeichnet. Charles, who would you like to say hello to?
Oh, thank you, Eric. Let's start off with a warm welcome to top fan Mark Beaver from southeastern Pennsylvania. Welcome, Mark. Welcome to Todd Aaron C. from Mississippi, but originally from Northern California, born and raised. Well, which bay are you in, Todd? Welcome to Stephanie Rourke from Michigan. Welcome, Stephanie. And Dan Co. from Chicago. Oh, not far from Great Mistakes, Dan. David, who's on your list?
Yeah, thanks, Charles. I would like to say thank you and warm welcome to Jay Ramos from California. Next on my list is Romeo Renya from Texas. And going over toward the Kentucky area, we are going to say hello to Brandon Cowles. And last on my list is going all the way down to Florida. We would like to say hello to Laura Wellen Williams. Thank you guys for all supporting us. And Paul, who's on your list?
Thanks, David. Let's spin the globe around here and maybe check out some different longitudes if we can. First of all, I'd like to go all the way down to New Zealand and say hello to our friend Vanessa Madsen. Not sure which island that you hail from there, Vanessa, but it's just great to know that all the way down there on the other end of the planet, there is enthusiasm for Star Trek. Very, very cool. Another English-speaking country on the other side of the planet, we're going to go to Leeds in England, in the UK, where John Wilson, who I think we've heard from a couple times in the past, John is letting us know that he's also a fan of all things Trek and this podcast. In South Africa, in Pretoria, our friend Vincent Buyesen is there. Hello, Vincent. How are you doing? Good to know that there's lots of science fiction enthusiasm in your continent. And going back to Europe, in the Netherlands, in the amazing town of Nijmegen, it is Hank de Boerwich. Hunk, it is great to hear from you. Thank you so much for sharing your fondness for the Federation of Planets with us here on this podcast. Great to know that you're out there in that beautiful corner of the world. Let's hear who Uncle Jim has got on his list.
Why, thank you so much, Paul. First of all, I'd like to say kapla and thank you to John Hulbeck Jr., who's listening to us from Starbase Oswego in New York. Thank you. We'd also like to say hello and thank you to Marco Guerrera, who's listening to us in New York City, the Big Apple. Let's go, Mets. Let's go, Mets. We also want to say thank you to Dan Co., who's listening to us in Chicago. If I remember correctly, that's the city where the dipshit captain is from, isn't he? Captain Liam Shaw from Star Trek Picard said, I'm the dipshit from Chicago. So congratulations and thank you for being a fan to Dan. And last but not least on our list, I'd like to say thank you to Mary L. Silva, who's listening to us in Florida right now. So we are broadcasting live, but I must have done something wrong. I apologize for that. I don't see the link on the Facebook page either. I must have done something wrong. I apologize. I'll try to figure it out before next week. All right, guys. So that finishes up our shout outs. If you'd like to be mentioned in a future fan shout out and see your picture right here on the screen, head over to our Facebook page, click on the little link, tell us where you're from, and send us a picture. We'll put it right up there. And now it's time for our Star Trek poll.
Pollin', you know we like knowing what you thought about the show, and we try to share your opinions with all of our minions out there because they listen worldwide. So tell us just what you think, and together we will all drink Kanar and Romulan ale tonight.
All right, guys, with that awesome song to put you guys in the mood to work your little noggins a little bit, it's time for our Star Trek polls. And I always try to come up with something fun, sometimes something ethical, sometimes just something stupid. But at any rate, you'll have to find out. So, hey, David, why don't you run the clip?
Let's talk about your ship. We know a way to insulate against the anomalies. There's a substance called Trellium D.
I've heard of it. It's extremely rare.
I have 60 kilos sitting in my cargo bay.
Well, perhaps we can work out some sort of trade.
That's what I had in mind.
Given the condition of my vessel, I don't know what we can offer you.
Our warp engine is badly damaged.
We could probably spare a few plasma injectors, maybe some antimatter.
I was thinking more along the lines of a warp coil.
I'm afraid that's one thing we can't spare.
Maybe we can make it worth your while. We have certain technology that you'd probably find useful.
Without a warp coil, the journey back to our system would take 3 years. We're not equipped for a voyage of that length.
The Xindi have already wiped out 7 million of my people. Now they're building a weapon to destroy our entire world. I have to stop them. Without warp drive, I won't succeed.
I'd sympathize, Captain. I will help you in any other way. But I won't jeopardize the lives of my crew. I'm sorry. Clear. Right there.
All right, there you have it. So, what is our poll question, Eric? As if
Well, of
people
course.
couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, that clip is from the Enterprise episode Damage. So in this episode, the Enterprise is crippled and adrift and in need of a warp coil. They encounter an Illyrian ship and steal the sole warp coil that ship has, stranding them. 3 years. Do you agree with Archer's choice? And as often happens on these polls, 75%, 76% of the people who responded to this poll said, heck yeah, Archer made the right choice. And 24% said no, he did not make the right choice. And because I read the polls, I always get to respond first. You guys, how can the Federation being pirates be okay? This is not okay. I know there's like a whole ends justifies the means sort of like potential argument that you can make here. 7 million people in Florida destroyed by the Xindi, whatnot. But I tell you what, I'm pretty sure that better captains than Archer would have come up with another way to solve this problem than simply becoming pirates and stealing stuff from these people. Stranding them for 3 years, right? It took them 3 years to get home. I feel like this would be a great episode to have kind of a follow-up on in Strange New Worlds or something, you know? Like, what happened with the Illyrians after they had their warp core stolen by Archer or something? So I am not with the minions on this one at all. I think it was absolutely wrong for Archer to do this. It's my 2 cents.
All right. How about you, David? Are you with the minions or against the minions?
All right, there you go. um, yeah, I think it's all very situational. I mean, I honestly think that a better captain or a different captain, in a sense, would probably not have come up with a particular situation, because I actually think, for the sake of, like Spock always says, the needs of one outweighs the needs of the many. So, or was it the opposite? I can't remember now. But anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking that the fact that Archer was in a desperate situation, that he needed that warp core, and this whole situation with the being a pirate and everything. I don't really think of it as being a pirate, and the fact that they compensated them for what they could use to survive for the 3-year period.
Wait, but hold on.
Voyage.
They gave them Trillium D, which we knows drives people to madness and they become zombies, right? So
Not all of them. I mean, it doesn't cause the humans to, just the Vulcans. And they don't know if they are allergic to it per se. But honestly, I'm going to have to go with... honestly, yeah, I think this whole thing is... I think Archer was actually in the right here. I actually think that he did what he had to do. So that's my opinion. So...
All right, so David is with the minions. How about you, Charles? Are you with the minions or against the minions?
Well, I think his ultimate goal was to sit there and get the Xindi to try and protect the other planets, including Earth, from being attacked. And I think his goal was to protect as many people as possible. And in protecting as many people as possible, he had to sacrifice a little bit integrity and maybe a little bit of honor with them. But I think he was risking so much that he chose that I think it was a better choice that he did take the warp coil so he could succeed in the mission and protect a lot of others. So I'm going to go with the minions on this one.
All right, how about you, Paul? Are you with the minions or against the minions, brother?
Oh, God, gentlemen, ethics are just so inconvenient, aren't they? I mean, Jesus. I mean,
that's what I'm hearing.
I'm hearing such Trumpian thinking. I can barely wrap my head around it. Right? I mean, maybe go solve the mineral situation in like Ukraine, because it's similar line of thinking here. It's what I want, and it's
Let's go take
necessary
it.
for me. So I'll just gonna take it. It doesn't matter. It's not mine. I need it, and I really need it now. I mean, we're basically like apes with sticks, guys, if we adopt this line of reasoning. This is not okay. This is not civilization. It certainly does not represent the ideals of the United Federation of Planets or Starfleet Academy or any of that, right? So it's incredibly, the kindest thing I can say is it's incredibly selfish, and it's a real dick move. Also, I really have to criticize Scott Bakula's performance in that one scene. Or stick up my ass, and I need it.
Can I tell
Jesus.
you something, Paul?
He's really bad in that scene, man. He's
So
just
I actually
terrible.
during a panel at Trekconderoga a couple of years ago, I said something I probably shouldn't have because I got a pretty bad groan from the audience. I said that I didn't think Scott Bakula could act his way out of a paper bag in Enterprise,
Well,
and everybody was like, "Whoa!" But this
God,
is a perfect scene that illustrates
yeah.
that.
God forbid you have an opinion, right? I mean, you're just, you got to be able to just call it as you see it, man. I mean, you can't worry about pleasing everybody. Jesus, I certainly don't. But yeah, I just think this is just, really, like you said, it's a dick move. It's piracy. It's selfish behavior. It should be held up as an example of what not to do. And I certainly hope that anybody who's with the minions never has a leadership position, because good Lord, I would be on the next door out. So
Well,
yeah,
to be
sorry,
fair,
it's
I do
just
have to add one.
reprehensible. It's
Yeah,
reprehensible.
you mentioned that this was the take on the United Federation. Well, this particular scene was before the Federation even was founded. So technically,
That is a moot point, man. It's an ethical. It goes against the ethics of what the Federation became. So
yeah,
if this is
I'm just
basically
saying
they're
during
more
that time
ape-like
though.
before they'd evolved
Yeah.
there, but it's just no one looks good doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's why he was really pondering on whether or not to do it. There were some extra scenes I wanted to put in there, but we had to shorten it to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
David-
this episode very well at all. I'm just going by what the question is and what I'm seeing on screen, and it's just it's just like selfishness is well,
Yeah, I
if
don't.
that's how you choose to roll,
Yeah,
great.
I don't see it as selfishness though, because
Yeah,
there were
clearly.
there was a lot of things that could have been shown in a sense. If you saw the entire episode, seeing line by line and timeline of how everything went, even the crew was like, we have to do this, otherwise Earth is going to get destroyed. So technically,
Well, yeah, David, we
So
had
the end justifies the means is your perspective.
yeah, and plus they could always just go back and get him, and then give him back to warp coils.
we had to
So-
shorten that scene up quite a bit to get it in there. There was more pondering and ethical, discussions and things, but
then they ignored that
end,
stuff and they just did what they wanted.
In the end, Archer did it, and I think David. So, all right, now it's my turn. So here we go. And as usual, first of all, to David's point, the Federation doesn't exist at this point in time. So this is pre-Federation, non-interference clause. None of that exists at this point in time. Archer's kind of the first guy out there figuring it out on his own. Having said that, it doesn't make it right what he did. But being the only one, being the first one, having to make these choices without any support from anybody else other than his crew, stranded out there. They were in the Badlands? No, what was that place called that they were stuck? The neutral? No, not the neutral.
It was
zone.
some sort of nebula, I think.
Yeah, they were like.
Expanse.
Yeah, that's it. And they didn't even have any Vulcans around to help them at that point, or basically Shran, who always seems to show up at every minute to help them. So he did what he thought was right. He made a judgment call to save Earth. He did what he thought was right. But I don't think it was the right choice to make as far as the ethics and the what Starfleet wants to represent and what we want our ships doing. So there you have it.
Ask yourself this question, right? Okay, yeah, I mean, granted, maybe there's no United Federation of Planets yet. There's no Starfleet yet, right? So, and he's out there by himself, like you say, right? He's the first guy doing it, right? But is this at a time before people had a concept of the understanding of what character is? No. It's like, basically that's what he's got. He's got character, and he shows he has none, right? By exhibiting this. So it's really.
I just try to put myself in the position of the person who's being transgressed against. So if somebody needed a lawnmower and by mowing their lawn they could please 100 people, does that give them the right to come and steal my lawnmower? No, they should get their own damn lawnmower, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's the same concept, but okay. I mean, that's a different dire situation.
I think it was exactly the same, David.
Yeah, it's just boy, what a terrible leader. Oh my God, he just sucks. It's just
Well,
I mean, that's kind of one of the things I like about Enterprise is that they are like babies flailing, right? And they make a lot of mistakes on that show.
Oh my God, yeah,
yes, they do.
I worry about mankind often, and
I know.
and this is a interesting choice of a question, Jim. Got us going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a lot of our Facebook fans said that they went back later and helped them out and gave them another warp coil after they saved Earth. And,
I don't think that's in the episode, though.
It's not in the episode.
I don't know how they know that they did that.
Well, it sounds like a lot of headcanon to me. But
that's exactly what that is.
These are fans saying what they think happened. So
okay,
Archer was a good guy. I'm sure he made up for it.
He gave it to him. Yeah, he went back and saved it.
Okay,
all right.
super.
So that that's
sorry I blew up your planet, but hey, here's some cheese.
Yeah, here's some Klingon blood wine.
Yeah. Sorry, Princess Leia. I know we destroyed Alderaan, but hey, these Empire rations are great, and they don't have an expiration date because they're so toxic they never spoil. But they're on us, and so hey. Long live the Empire.
Well,
Gotta go.
that's sometimes I come up with a good question and sometimes I come up with some fun ones. That was one of the ones that I thought needed to be discussed. All right, David, roll the tape on the next one, buddy.
You have all done remarkable service under the most difficult conditions. You'll be receiving Starfleet's highest commendation. And more importantly, extended shore leave. That is all but you, Mr. Scott. They need your wisdom on the new Excelsior. Report there tomorrow as captain of engineering.
With all appreciation, sir, I prefer to supervise the refit of Enterprise.
I'm afraid that won't be necessary.
But, sir...
I'm sorry, Mr. Scott, but there will be no refit.
Admiral, I don't understand. The Enterprise is not...
Jim, the Enterprise is 20 years old. We feel her day is over.
But we had requested. We'd hoped to take her back to Genesis.
That is out of the question.
All right, guys. So there's two reasons why I picked this one. One, because I thought it would just be a fun discussion we could have. But more importantly, there's an admiral doing what admirals do best on Star Trek, and that's kind of relevant to our show tonight. So, Eric, what is the poll question?
Well, that scene was, of course, from Star Trek III, The Search for Spock, and that was Admiral Morrow. And he said that, of course, the Enterprise was 20 years old, her days are over, and there'll be no refit. Do you agree with the decision? And 18% of our poll respondents said yes, they agreed. We need a new ship. And 82% of our respondents did not agree with Admiral Morrow's extolling of the brass's decision to decommission the Enterprise. So, my thoughts on this are starships are actually designed to last like 100 years or more, and we see plenty of starships that are 100 years old or ish, 60 to 80 years old probably in Star Trek. They can kind of be, they're actually designed, David knows more about this than I do, but I think they're designed in some respects to be modular, where you can like pop things out and pop new things in and kind of upgrade them and that sort of stuff. So the fact that it was 20 years old, I mean, okay, let's be clear. They needed to say that for the writing, right? There needed to be that drama moment. And so this is kind of one of those times when like they did it because they had to for the writing. But in reality, I think starships are actually designed to last a lot longer than 20 years. So yeah, I mean, I can't say it was a bad decision because newer starships are always better, but there's a lot of nostalgia tied up in, I think, our respondents' answers on this one. That's my thought.
Well, also, this is the original Enterprise, the original Constitution class from the original series, the only ship that returned to Earth, right? As far as we know.
It is, but it's already been refit once, right?
Right,
I mean,
it was refit
they
in
changed
Star
out
Trek
all
the
the
motion
nacelles.
picture.
The thing looks totally. In fact, in all the books, it's like somehow bigger too. It's like a whole different ship. So does it have like 83 decks or something in that one scene?
Yeah,
in the motion picture.
It's not the same ship. It's a new ship, but I think they threw that line in there just to let people know that, yeah, we're aware that this is the same ship, blah, blah, blah. But you're right. I think a starship, well, look at the Klingon birds of prey. They've been around for hundreds of years. The Excelsior we see in Star Trek 3 is still being used, So, yeah, these starships have a very long life expectancy. So I think it was just, written in there as a form of drama so that they could steal the ship and yada, yada, yada. So, I don't agree with his decision at all. So how about you, Charles?
Okay. Since we're going to go with our Beyond, let's bring in Logan's Run. Oh, you're 30. Let's send you off to move on to the next plane. You're too old. Even our own, let's say, naval ships. I know ships that were in Vietnam that finally got retired. Even some World War II ships that finally got retired. We're talking a lifespan of a naval ship I wouldn't be surprised in 40, 60 years. And yet we're saying we're going to get rid of a starship after 20 years. That's a short lifespan for a ship. And I was definitely one of them that agreed that no, this was way too early to sit there and dismiss such a ship.
All right. How about you, David? What do you think? Did Morrow make the right choice?
I have to say no on this one, mainly because if you look at it in its perspective of an empire-wide situation where you have ships that can still be used, even if it has to be like garbage cows or whatever, I mean, just the fact that they are old doesn't mean that you can't, like what Eric said, switching out modular situations and stuff like that. But the fact that they are gonna make this disappear, I think Eric's correct again. I do have to agree with you. It is just a lot for nostalgic kind of stuff, and the fact that story written and whatnot. But I don't know. I think that they could still use the ship though, because there's just a lot of stuff that you can use, just even old stuff with. So yeah, I'm still gonna say no on this one though. I kind of agree with our minions.
All right. So, Paul, you get to bring up the caboose on this one, brother.
Oh man, when I first saw the Admiral Morrow with that mustache, I thought it was Mr. Milchick from Severance there for a minute. I was just a dead ringer. Yeah, as the oldest member of the Trexpert team, I would like to defend early retirement of people or objects or fictional creations before their time, because I think it's short-sighted, and older people may kill you if you try to do it, right? So it's just don't get on our bad side. We'll figure out a way to get even eventually, because it's just, yeah, it's short-sighted. It's just like, it kind of, in a way, it makes the movie feel dated, right? It's just like 20 years. I mean, I agree with Charles. It's just like, 20 years. I mean, most people driving a car, it's still 20 years old, right? I mean, very often, except for Eric with his, atomic powered conveyance that he has. But
I'll still be driving it in 15.
yeah, but yeah, it's. I think the minions are out of their mind this time. No is right. 82% people said no. He's wrong. I do not agree with the admiral's decision. It's short-sighted and definitely the hand of the plot. We got to come up with a way to justify the behavior. So it's just yeah, nonsense.
All right. So, guys, before we move on, and I'm going to be as surprised as you because I haven't seen anything that David and Eric have come up with. So, we're going to be delving into strange new worlds and boldly going where no one has gone before together. But before we do that, where would you put Admiral Morrow on the chart? Is he an evil admiral? Is he a good admiral? Where would you stick him?
Well, I mean, I don't know that this is Admiral Morrow's decision. This feels like top brass making a collective decision. So I don't know. Seems like a nice guy. Bad decision, but probably made by multiple people. So I don't know that we ever see him again, do we? So there's not enough data to really make a determination as to whether he's evil or good.
He's kind of middle management, right?
That's what it feels like. Yeah, he's just a messenger.
So when I looked him up on IMBD, if you look him up, he was supposed to be the admiral in Star Trek VI that works on the conspiracy, but he was unavailable for the part, so they recast it as Admiral Cartwright. But it was supposed to be Admiral Morrow, so
Okay.
that would have changed the whole thing had it been the same admiral, but it wasn't.
Definitely.
All right, guys. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric right now, and we're going to do our Admirals of Starfleet. So take it away, Eric.
All right, guys. Well, this week we are, of course, talking about evil admirals. We're going to talk about 6 admirals that may or may not exactly fall into that evil category, but I'm excited about the potential discussion that we can have about these people. This is called Starfleet Admirals Part 1 because I anticipate in the future we may want to talk about admirals again. So I'm not going to tell you who we're going to talk about. David's going to roll a clip, and then we're going to have a fun conversation about each one. So, David, take it away. Take it away. Here we go. We don't have any sound. Oh, there we go.
I will take this to the Federation Council.
I'm acting on orders from the Federation Council.
How can there be an order to abandon the Prime Directive?
Prime Directive doesn't apply. These people are not indigenous to this planet. They were never meant to be immortal. We'll simply be restoring them to their natural evolution.
Who the hell are we to determine the next course of evolution for this people?
Jean-Luc, there are 600 people down there. We'll be able to use the regenerative properties of this radiation to help billions. The Sona have developed a procedure to collect the metaphasic particles from the planet's rings.
A planet in Federation space.
That's right. We have the planet, they have the technology. A technology we can't duplicate. You know what that makes us? Partners.
Our partners are nothing more than petty thugs.
On Earth, petroleum once turned petty thugs into world leaders. Warp drive transformed a bunch of Romulan thugs into an empire. We can handle the Sona. I'm not worried about that.
Someone probably said the same thing about the Romulans a century ago.
With metaphysics, lifespans will be doubled. An entire new medical science will evolve. I understand your chief engineer has the use of his eyes for the first time in his life. Would you take that away from him?
There are metaphasic particles all over the briar patch. Why does it have to be this one planet?
It's the concentration in the rings that makes the whole damn thing work. Don't ask me to explain it. I only know they inject something into the rings that starts a thermolytic reaction. When it's over, the planet will be uninhabitable for generations.
Admiral, delay the procedure. Let my people look at the technology.
Our best scientific minds already have. We can't find any other way to do this.
Then the Sonar can establish a separate colony on the planet until we do.
It would take 10 years of normal exposure to begin to reverse their condition. Some of them won't survive that long. Besides, they don't want to live in the middle of the briar patch. Who would?
The Baku. We are betraying the principles upon which the Federation was founded. It's an attack upon its very soul.
All right, so obviously that was Admiral Doherty from Star Trek Insurrection. David, I think we have a still image of him to bring up. There he is. So this one to me is pretty cut and dry. This guy seems pretty evil, but it sounds once again to me like the orders are coming from up above. Like Starfleet has talked about this, and this is the way Starfleet wants to do it. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on Doherty? Is he just the messenger? Is he an evil admiral who's actually made a decision here? What's going on here?
Well, first of all, this is one of the best parts of this movie, right here, actually. And Jean-Luc, like, he is the man, isn't he? I mean, when it comes to ethics, this is the man you go to. I mean, this guy calls it like it is. He's about, as straight as a straight shooter can be. But I think that Admiral Doherty is acting on his own, basically, because he orders the Sona, to destroy the Enterprise before they can leave the Briar Patch to send a signal back to Starfleet. I think that he's hoping that by the time Starfleet finds out what's going on, the damage will be done, and they'll have this chemical, and the ends will justify the means. So I think that he's definitely misplaced, misled, and doesn't know what he's doing. He missed his Starfleet ethics course. He must have been out sick that day. But yeah, I think that he's acting on his own and hoping that he can get the Enterprise destroyed before Starfleet finds out about what he's doing. So I classify him as evil all the way, and that's what I'm going to say, and I'm sticking to it. So
you think he's lying when he says that orders are from Federation?
I think that he is, because you can't get communications out of the Briar Patch. As long as the Enterprise is in there, as long as they're in there, nobody knows what's going on. And when he orders the Enterprise to be destroyed before they get out of the Briar Patch, that tells me that he doesn't want Starfleet to know what's going on inside the Briar Patch.
He's getting rid of the evidence. Okay.
I think. Maybe I'm reading into it too much. They don't actually say that in the movie, but I can't think of any other reason why he would want to destroy a Federation starship. So that's what I'm thinking.
What do you think, Charles?
Well, okay, why wasn't Starfleet notifying Picard on this earlier? So Admiral just happens to come on board ship and then says that he's in charge and this is what Starfleet wants. I don't see the evidence that claims that he's working in Starfleet's behalf as proof. And I agree with Jim saying I think he's hiding something and trying to work more on his own than he may be representing Starfleet, but he may be representing a part of Starfleet, not Starfleet as a whole. So I agree with Jim, Evil Admiral.
What do you think, David?
I actually agree with you guys. I think he went complete rogue. I agree with what Jim and Charles said, and probably what Paul would be saying here shortly. But I think he went completely rogue, and he probably got bribed or something, or maybe he was just wanting to get a facelift or something. I have no idea, but
well, he definitely got that. That's for sure. He got a facelift.
So I don't know. Either way, I think he's the evil side on this course. So, yep.
All right, Paul.
Refresh my memory, because I've been trying to put this one out of my mind for a few years. I'm just
after actively trying to get it out for so long.
Yeah. Does he face a comeuppance? How does
he does? Yeah.
killed?
So at the end, he actually has a showdown with the Sonabad guy, Ruafo.
F. Murray Abraham. Yeah.
F. Murray Abraham,
Shockingly, yeah.
and who puts him in the face stretching machine, and Doherty gets his face stretched. So he gets his just desserts in the end.
Okay. Yeah. I would, we talk. I want to just go back to the beginning of what you said. Well, is he just middle management, and therefore is that that whole thing, right? He's just following orders, right? As I think that I agree with what you're all saying. Is all likelihood it sounds like he's kind of extending his authority and kind of creating a lot of hyperbole for what he wants to get away with, right? But again, it's just going right back to what we were talking about with that poll question, right? I want something, therefore I'm entitled to take it. Right. And that line of reasoning gets all kinds of problems for folks, right? And so you become a thief then. And I never will give anybody in middle management a pass, right? Because the problem is if you're complicit with evil, right, you're allowing it to flourish, you're enabling it, right, by not stepping up, like the guards at Auschwitz, right? It's just like, oh well, that's a problem, right? It's if you made the decision, I'm just here to make sure the motor pool works, okay, right? I mean, yeah dude, but you're still enabling evil, right? You're complicit, right? Because you're going along with what is wrong and evil. So yeah. Sorry, Doherty, or whatever your name is, but you're a bastard. So, yeah. Bye-bye. Have fun getting your face stretched.
Bye-bye. And evil. I think that we may see this this theme in the future here with other admirals.
Did we lose
Eric,
Eric?
Are you there, Eric? Eric.
I believe I'm here.
Oh, no.
I'm here.
There he is.
There we go.
I can still hear
we lost you for a minute there, buddy.
Okay. I see. Keep waiting. Okay, so you'll kind of see this theme, I think, repeated in a couple of our admirals of them trying to cover up mistakes that are being made. So, but this next one is something a little different. So let's go with Admiral number 2. David, roll the tape.
There are some words I've known since I was a schoolboy. With the first link, the chain is forged. First speech censured, the first thought forbidden, the first freedom denied, chains us all irrevocably. Those words were uttered by Judge Admiral Satie as wisdom and warning. First time any man's freedom is trodden on, we're all damaged. I fear that day.
How dare you? You who consort with Romulans, invoke my father's name to support your traitorous arguments. It is an offense to everything I hold dear. And to hear those words used to subvert the United Federation of Planets. My father was a great man. His name stands for integrity and principle. You dirty his name when you speak it. He loved the Federation, but you often corrupt it. You undermine our very way of life. I will expose you for what you are. I brought down bigger men than you, Picard.
And
Snap.
I have nothing more to say.
okay, this of course is Admiral Satie, and this is from probably, well, in my opinion, one of the top 5 episodes of Next Generation of all time, the Drumhead. You'll remember that in this episode, she sort of goes on a witch hunt. She is trying to find out and sleuth out a conspiracy, and unfortunately, she goes after this wonderful crew member, Simon Tarsist, and just lays into him. And it turns out he does have a secret, but it's not the secret she's looking for, but that doesn't seem to matter to her. So to me, Nora Satie, in her own mind, thought she was doing the right thing, right? And almost all good bad guys that you see in media think that they're doing the right thing. But in this case, she went on a witch hunt, and she probably destroyed or almost destroyed a young man's life in the process. And I wanted to show this last scene of her kind of losing it, because I think this is sort of when she realizes what she's done. But I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Nora Satie and like maybe even this episode in general. I just love it so much.
Well, again, we have Jean-Luc being the moral compass of Star Trek, like he always does and does so well. I think that's something that might be lacking a little bit from current Star Trek iterations. We need a moral compass. We need somebody to look up to, someone that will stand up and do the right thing, even when they're in the minority, who's not afraid to do the right thing. And that's Jean-Luc all the way. So kudos to Jean-Luc. Yeah, I think this episode was great, and I think that she meant well. I think she thought what she was doing was good, but in the end, she drank the Kool-Aid. She wore the hat and she went for it, and she went too far. And she should have noticed that and jumped back, but she didn't, because she was too far in over her head. She was too convinced that what she was doing was the right thing, and that what she was doing was trying to save the Federation from itself. God, that sounds familiar. Where have I heard that? Anyways, what a topic. We could talk about that for the rest of the show. But at any rate, yeah, that's what I think. I think she's definitely evil. I think she was corrupt. I don't think she started evil, like Doherty, who clearly was evil and knew what he was doing was evil. But she didn't start evil, but ended up being evil because she couldn't stop when she started going. So I'm going to put her in the evil category.
What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, well, first of all, I mean, the great Gene Simmons, right, from Spartacus and every other thing. I mean, just remarkable performance. This elevates Star Trek and science fiction to a higher level, right? This is the kind of thing that you want writing to do, right? It's amazing, and it's just great because it's so relevant to the times that pretty much everybody lives in, right? At least in the 20th century, right? When you have somebody who is in a position of power, and this is one of the great risks of any conflict or war, right, is you start to identify who the enemy is, and then everybody who is identifiable as being like that enemy becomes less than a human being. Yep. This is how Japanese were interned here in America. This is what's going on in more conflicts on the planet than I can name right now, and it's in the vilification of dark-skinned people in this country. Right now, it's the xenophobic and racist viewpoint that is given the mantle of authority, right? To basically ruin with impunity, to pluck people off the streets with no legal authority, no process, and ruin lives, to kill people with impunity. I mean, she's as absolutely evil as they come. She's the definition of fascism.
All right, Charles, what do you think?
Kind of fresh on what Paul said. I had to look up the word I was looking for, and that was McCarthyism. Let's look for the communism. Let's look for the communist. Star Trek was going back, talking about history. Let's find the witches to burn. And I think all she wanted to do was focus on trying to find somebody to burn to solve her cause. And sacrificing people just to satisfy your need for that is evil. It's not something that needs to be done in Starfleet. So definitely, I think she's on the definitely on the evil side, ending with the evil admirals.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with Jim here that she didn't start out evil. Like everybody, they go through life. They try to do good. They try to do what they could to do to, lead others and everything. But I think at the end, what she ended up doing was her secret got the better of her or something. So she just ended up fixating on that, and she just couldn't let it go. And ultimately, it led to what we see here now as her being what she is. And yeah, I would have to put her on the evils list as well, so that's probably what I would rate her as.
And unlike Doherty, we actually don't know what happens with Satie here. Like the trial ends and she sort of loses it, but
Yeah.
as far as we know, there's really no consequences for her for ruining Simon Tarsis's
Well, she's
life.
clearly in line with the Sona. Look at how many facelifts she had.
Man, the look on that other admiral's face when he's in the chair.
Yeah, like
he just so underplays it, right? It's just great, and then he just gets up. You know what happens, man, when he gets up and just walks out. This is just
totally, yeah,
amazing, right? That dude had no dialogue, and just owned that moment.
Spoke volumes.
It's great.
Cool. All right, well, definitely one of the best episodes, one of the best scenes of Star Trek ever. So thank you, Nora Satie, for bringing that to us. So on to Admiral number 3. David, roll the tape.
Remember when we were on the Okinawa fighting the Zenkethi? That time when I wanted to take the ship into an asteroid belt to chase down those 3 raiders?
And I said it was an unnecessary risk.
You spoke your mind, which is exactly what a good executive officer is supposed to do. But I overruled you. After the staff meeting, you followed me into my ready room and tried to argue your point again.
That's right, I did.
And remember what I told you.
That a good officer must respect the chain of command. That there comes a time when you must accept the orders of a superior officer and carry out those orders whether you agree with them or not.
I also told you that when you became a CO, you'd feel the same way.
And you were right. About going after the Zenkethi and about me.
Without the chain of command, Starfleet would cease to function, and we wouldn't stand a chance against our enemies. I'm still your commanding officer. And now more than ever, I need you to respect my authority.
And I cannot do that. Not this time.
And as of now, I'm relieving you of your post as temporary head of Earth security and sending you back to Deep Space Nine. Go home, Ben. You don't belong here.
All right. This, of course, is Admiral Layton, which we know from the DS9 episodes Homefront and Paradise Lost, both of which are kind of buried in that like season 4 Dominion War sort of story. And in case you don't remember what's going on here, Admiral Layton felt so strongly about the changeling threat. Remember, the changelings had just been discovered that he organized a military coup d'etat in an attempt to safeguard the Federation from the Gamma Quadrant invaders. He ordered Captain Bentine, Erica Bentine of the USS Lakota, to intercept the Defiant and prevent them from reaching Earth, telling her that the entire crew of the Defiant had been replaced by changelings. Thankfully, he was, of course, stopped by Benjamin Sisko. So for me, Layton is one of these admirals, like so many admirals, who makes a decision based out of fear. He doesn't have any evidence. He doesn't really know what's going on, but he wants to accomplish a task, and so he uses the concept of fear to sort of make it happen. And that, for me, is what makes Layton a bad guy, because he doesn't really consider the 30,000-foot view consequences of what he's doing. Yeah, who wants to start on this one?
Well, first of all, I think this is a perfect example of what's going on right now in the United States of America. You know, we have all these people out there that are being controlled using fear. We have a leader that's using fear. We have a leader that one of these days, well, let me back up. Layton turns around and puts Earth under martial law, if I remember the episode correctly. Once he does that, he's able to assume total control of everything. And that's how this whole ball starts rolling. He uses fear to get the Federation Council to issue martial law, thereby taking total control. Sounds extremely familiar with what's going on in the United States right now. So, guys, beware. So yeah, this guy is about as fascist can be. He thinks he's doing the right, well, just like the other admiral. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks he's saving the Federation, but in reality, he's betraying it. He's betraying everything that the Federation stands for. Sisko knows it. I really wish Picard had beamed into this scene and given one of his speeches, because this would have been a perfect Picard speech right there. Mic drop for Picard.
We did get the Sisko like, no, I'm not going to do it though. Which I always respect about Sisko. He's not the guy who talks to Q. He's the guy who punches Q in the face. Right?
Punches Q. So I think, and again, I don't think he's necessarily evil. I think he's misled. I think that he drank the Kool-Aid. He believes his own bullshit. But yeah, he's definitely a bad guy for sure. He needs the face stretching is what he needs. And the other thing that he does is he surrounds himself with sycophants. You know, if you don't agree with me, you're fired. Geez, does that sound familiar too? I wonder. You know, if you don't agree with him, he fires you. And that's, you know, that's not any way for a democracy to function. So yeah, he's evil. He's a bad guy. He needs to have his face stretched. And that's my stance, and I'm sticking to it.
All right, David, what do you think?
Well, I think that this guy isn't actually him. Wasn't he supposed to be one of the changelings? Because isn't this when Odo ends up later on finding out that he became a changeling by shaking hands with him and morphing him? I don't know if he's actually human here, but
we know at some point he's replaced. We don't. I guess we don't know for sure in this episode whether he's a changeling or whether he actually is the person. I personally think he is still the person here.
Probably.
But I don't have any evidence for whether that's true or not.
Yeah, I mean, so with that in mind, it's kind of a Dominion situation where yes, he would try to use fear. That's what they're all about, right? And so he would try to take control and everything, get the president to sign off on control and everything like that. So to me, I think he is actually a Dominion agent here, and he's just trying to cause Earth to become as much demoralized as possible. So technically, he's evil in that sense, but in a way, I kind of have to agree with Jim. He's not technically evil. He's just misled if he is human. So I'm kind of neutral on this. He's neither good nor bad to me right now for some reason. But I mean, as far as what we've seen, the scene played out, yes, that's evil. But again, with that concept, if he is a Dominion or human, could go either way for me. So that's my 2 cents on it.
I mean, for what it's worth, when you read his kind of write-up on Memory Alpha, which I know is just written by whoever it's written by, but it's written as if it's the actual person and not a changeling version of the person. So
maybe that changeling was a different episode, or
yeah, it's
something.
the later episode. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then again, he's kind of neutral for me at the moment than as a human being. Yeah.
What do you think, Paul?
Well, I guess we have a difference of perspective on this here, right? And again, war is a crucible that reveals what kind of person you are, right? And what you choose to, if you're the kind of person that says, oh, the end justifies the means, or I have a power now, and so I feel that this is necessary because it's war, and that somehow the rules are different and the regular compass doesn't point to north anymore. Did this guy attempt a coup? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he falsify evidence of Dominion activity? Yes or no?
Yes.
Did he frame Benjamin Sisko as a changeling infiltrator?
Yes.
This guy's freaking evil. How do you not call that evil? I mean, given all that stuff that he's done, I mean, that is basically a triple whammy, right? I mean, absolutely. He thinks he's being true to his Starfleet principles, and the greater good justifies the means. What bullshit. Men have been committing evil using that pretense for centuries, right? And you got to recognize it, and you got to chop the head off when that happens. You got to right to the guillotine, right? And you cannot, slight hyperbole. I'm actually a very gentle soul, but yeah. I just, people like this, these bureaucrats who think that they can tell everyone else what's right and wrong, and inflict themselves on a society. If that's not evil, I don't know what is. But this coup attempting, evidence falsifying framer, he's absolutely evil.
That's exactly what a Dominion agent would do. I think he was a Dominion agent.
Yeah, there's no neutral here. He's evil. That's it.
If he was a Dominion agent, he's totally evil.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, Charles, you got the caboose, buddy.
How can I follow up with Paul? Paul said, he sat there and acted as an evil admiral.
Yep. All right. Admiral Layton, squarely evil, squarely abusing power, just not a good guy. And he resigns in the end, but I always find the resignation to kind of be an unsatisfying just comeuppance for somebody who does super evil things. I feel like it would have been cool to see him, I don't know, face some jail time or something like that. So at any rate, that was Admiral Layton. We are now going to head to Admiral number 4. David, hit it.
At the behest of the Vulcan ambassador, I opened a dialogue with Gorkin, Chancellor of the Klingon High Council. He proposes to commence negotiations at once.
Negotiations for what?
The dismantling of our space stations and star bases along the neutral zone. An end to almost 70 years of unremitting hostility, which the Klingons can no longer afford.
Bill, are we talking about mothballing the Starfleet?
Well, I'm sure that our exploration and scientific programs would be unaffected, Captain, but...
I must protest. To offer Klingons safe haven within Federation space is suicide. Klingons would become the alien trash of the galaxy. And if we dismantle the fleet, we'd be defenseless before an aggressive species with a foothold on our territory. The opportunity here is to bring them to their knees. Then we'll be in a far better position to dictate terms.
Sir.
Captain Kirk, the Klingons have never been trustworthy. I'm forced to agree with Admiral Cartwright.
Okay. Klingons have never been trustworthy. Here we got Cartwright saying some pretty harsh stuff. They would become the trash of the galaxy. Paul, this sounds kind of like the making it about the others kind of thing that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the xenophobia. It's the justification of things, right? This is a terrific picture, right? I mean, great movie. I mean, really,
yeah, Star Trek 6, by the way, in case anybody
directed
doesn't remember.
by one of the greats, right? Who we've been lucky enough to chat with a bit. But But his whole conspiracy, you know, was responsible for framing everybody for the murder of the Klingon chancellor, if I remember correctly, right?
Yep.
He wants to derail peace. Okay, he wants to weaken his enemies, right? And I mean, given everything that happens in this movie, I think he's probably, maybe, you know, a candidate for the most evil of all the Starfleet admirals, right? I mean, he's pretty freaking evil. You know, I mean, he's, you know, he's, you know, have a glass of prune juice, pal. I mean, something, right? It's just, you gotta lighten up. I mean, it's just, he's so unhappy, you know, and it's just, nothing's going to make him happy, right? He spearheads the entire conspiracy, right? I mean, he really does, right? And it's, you know, I love a political thriller, right? And that's really what Star Trek 6 is, right? I mean, it's just great. But he's just, you know, unrepentant, and he thinks he's right. And woe be to us, man, when you run into one of these cats who just thinks he's right, and just, you know, reason, evidence, morality, none of it matters to them. They're just going to do what they want. And, you know, you got to be vigilant against this in society, and especially if you want to live in a democracy.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, this is actually the second time we see Admiral Cartwright, because we do originally see him in Star Trek 4, and he doesn't have much of a role, but he's the guy who initiates the planet-wide red alert when the whale probe is coming in and about ready to mess some stuff up.
That's right.
So he's kind of like, you think he's a good guy at that point, and then 2 movies later, you get this Cartwright. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Charles?
Sitting there calling the Klingons the trash of the universe. That's not something I think an admiral should be saying, talking to a race about, talking about a race like that. As, gee, sounds a little bit love talk of U.S. history. How about they compared some other races? So I think just the comment is totally wrong, totally not objective, totally not definitely supporting Starfleet. We know why Admiral Clark sat there and had the feelings of that because of the loss of his son. But I think at this point he was back to captain. And captains can have their feelings on it. Admirals shouldn't be boistering attitudes like this. Definitely, I think, the evil side.
Jim, do you think the Klingons deserve to be brought to their knees, as Admiral Cartwright suggests here?
Well, that right there, that rhetoric, again, is some rhetoric that we hear today when you turn on the news. You know, anytime that you hear a leader use words like that, alien trash, bring them to their knees, dictate terms, this guy missed his Starfleet ethics class too, just like all the other admirals. You know, he was in the bathroom smoking a big fat Bob Marley and missed that part of the lecture. But he's, you know, what surprises me the most about this particular scene is that Captain Kirk agrees with him. Look, Charles was saying he lost his son and so on and so forth, but this type of rhetoric, I'm going to say it, this is the type of rhetoric that Adolf Hitler used. Exactly. And Kirk brings this up later on when the Klingons are having dinner. You know, he actually uses that reference. So for him not to catch it when Cartwright says it, it's kind of like, you know, Kirk, you know, dude, this guy is quoting, you know, you should be catching it and not agreeing with it. And all the other admirals in the room, none of them caught that rhetoric. They all let it slide, and they all went along with it. So, you know, is this the beginning of Starfleet eroding? Are all of the brass slipping into this, you know, bad place to be? I don't know. But Cartwright is definitely evil, and he shows it later on when he gets Admiral Odo, whose name escapes me right now. He gets Admiral Odo to dress up as a Klingon and try to blow away the Chancellor. And he's clearly working with the Romulans, he's working with the Klingons, and he's working with the Federation to derail the peace process. You don't get much more evil than that. So yeah, Cartwright is evil. He needs a face stretching, and yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
All right, David, you get to follow Jim on this one.
All right, cool. Well, he definitely likes tribbles. I mean, you know, the fact that he wants to get rid of the Klingons. But I would refresh my memory. It's been a while since I've seen this. Didn't he get caught at the end?
He does. Well, it's kind of like right after this scene, they sort of haul him off to rehabilitation. So they recognize that he's made some poor decisions, and they're gonna, because I mean, it's kind of interesting because I always thought that Federation didn't actually have prisons at all. And I think that I thought that all the way up through Star Trek VI here. I think that that's changed in recent years, and there seem to be Federation prisons and that kind of stuff nowadays. But but I always thought you rehabilitated the bad guys, and I think that's what happens to him here.
Okay, so technically, he did get caught. So they recognized what he did, and if the movie said that he was evil and behind some sort of conspiracy, I would have to agree with the movie, to be honest, because what he apparently did was not a good thing. But yeah, so I would have to say he's full on evil for me.
Yeah, and I think he's another example of an admiral who is motivated by fear. Like, we don't really know why he's so afraid of the Klingons, but the rhetoric that he's using seems to be trying to make them others because he seems scared of them. So I don't know exactly what his motivations are, but I don't think he was getting paid by the Romulans.
Yeah, I think it might have been actually the Romulan influence that caused his fear, because it wasn't the Romulan assassin that was trying to shoot the president.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He was in a Klingon
Yeah, maybe you're right.
disguise.
Yeah, so maybe they got. I don't know.
So yeah, maybe.
No, it was Admiral
Actually,
Odo
it was
that shoots him.
Admiral Odo dressed up as a Klingon.
Right, not a Romulan.
Not a Romulan, but Ambassador Nauclus was there, which never made any sense to me. Why they'd have a Romulan operative sitting in on this top secret Starfleet thing? So he was working with the Romulans and the Klingons and Admiral Odo, to thwart peace, which is never a good thing.
Well, he's probably part of the Duras family.
Probably. All right, Admiral Cartwright, squarely evil and squarely somebody who shouldn't be at the top of conspiracies to assassinate ambassadors. All right, on to Admiral number 5. David, who's that going to be? Let's see
Admiral Marcus, I wasn't expecting you. It's a hell of a ship you got there.
And I wasn't expecting to get word that you'd taken Harrison into custody in violation of your orders.
Well, we had to improvise when our warp core unexpectedly malfunctioned. But you already knew that, didn't you, sir?
I don't take your meaning.
Well, that's why you're here, isn't it? To assist with our repairs? Why else would the head of Starfleet personally come to the edge of the neutral zone?
Captain, they're scanning our ship.
Is there something I can help you find, sir?
Where is your prisoner, Kirk?
Per Starfleet regulation, I'm planning on returning Khan to Earth to stand trial.
Well, shit. You talked to him. It's exactly what I was hoping to spare you from. I took a tactical risk and I woke that bastard up, believing that his superior intelligence could help us protect ourselves from whatever came at us next. But I made a mistake, and now the blood of everybody he's killed is on my hands. So I'm asking you, give him to me so that I can end what I started.
And what exactly would you like me to do with the rest of his crew, sir? Fire them at the Klingons, end 72 lives? Start a war in the process?
He put those people in those torpedoes. And I simply didn't want to burden you with knowing what was inside of them. You saw what this man could do all by himself. Can you imagine what would happen if we woke up the rest of his crew? What else did he tell you? That he's a peacekeeper? He's playing you, son. Don't you see that? Khan and his crew were condemned to death as war criminals. And now it is our duty to carry out that sentence before anybody else dies because of him. Now I'm going to ask you again. One last time, son. Lower your shields. Tell me where he is.
Ooh, okay. This, of course, is Admiral Marcus from Star Trek Into Darkness. And whatever you may think about the movie in general, I think this is a great scene. And I think that it actually, of all of the evil, well, maybe not the last one, but of all the evil admirals that we've talked about up until this point, this argument kind of starts to make a little bit of sense. Like, okay, I was afraid, and so I woke up this superior intellect guy hoping that he'd be able to help us, and he says right there, I made a mistake, and he's trying to fix the mistake. Now, does the rest of Starfleet know that he's trying to fix the mistake? I'm not sure about that, but love to hear what you guys have to say about Admiral Marcus.
Well, if I remember, first of all, I enjoyed Into Darkness for just this reason. I thought it was really relevant to what was going on right around the time. And if I remember correctly, he was a member of Section 31, I think. And they built the USS Vengeance as well. So this was all a Section 31 ploy. Am I right about that, Eric?
I think that's true, yeah.
I think, yeah. Because Scotty didn't even know about it when he saw the ship. So he's not only is he evil, but he's into this secret like organization that operates outside the realm of laws and whatnot. So yeah, that in itself makes him shady to begin with. But his actions, his attitude, he's going to destroy the Enterprise. He's going to kill everyone on the Enterprise to cover up his mistake. Rather than being a man and admitting I made a mistake, he's going to kill everyone on the Enterprise just to hide his mistake, except for his daughter, who I believe he has beamed aboard the Vengeance so that he doesn't kill her. But so he's got a soft spot for his daughter, but he's still evil. Okay, this guy is a bad guy right down the pipe. And the way he talks to Kirk by calling him son, that's about as degrading as you can be. He's like, I have the upper hand. I'm the superior. You're going to do what I say, son. Evil all the way. And he gets what he deserves at the end. And that's what I'm saying. Evil. Bad Admiral. Bad Admiral.
Get off the countertop.
Yeah, you're done. You're bad. You're evil. He's So yeah, he's a bad guy in my book all the way. And what makes it worse, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing was wrong because he was trying to hide it. And if he didn't think what he was doing is wrong, he would have done it right out in the open, like Admiral Layton did in the last clip that we watched. This guy, sneaks away on his cloakable black spaceship that nobody knows exists and does all this stuff behind the scenes because he knows that what he's doing is wrong, which makes him even more dangerous because he's not going to hide behind some MAGA bullshit. He's just going to go right out and do it and doesn't care. So he's evil. He's a bad admiral. And yes, he needs a face stretching. So yeah, that's what I got to say about Admiral Marcus. And he needs to go back to RoboCop. That's where he needs to be. He needs to have Ed 209 come in and take care of him. So that's my take on it.
All right, who wants to go next? Charles, you want to go next?
Yeah. Yep. I did a little looking up on Memory Alpha. Okay, Evil Admiral of Section 31. Do we have any good admirals in Section 31? I have my doubts.
Is he a member? Is he an actual member of Section 31?
It says he actually leads Section 31. Now I remember looking it up. Not only that, he leads Section 31. The leader of Section 31 is going to be good. We haven't seen too many good leaders in Section 31 yet. So, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take this man and all his all the members, all of his crew members, and sacrifice them. It's like, no, you're not going to do a trial. You're going to be executioner. You're going to decide their fate yourself. No, that is the Federation's duty, not just a single admiral leading Section 31. So definitely an evil admiral. I saw this clip. It's like, you start the clip. It's like, oh, into darkness. Yes, evil admiral.
All right, Paul, what do you think?
Yeah. I think so. I mean, is Peter Weller playing it evil? It sure seems like he is. I mean, my God, he's just like, glowering, right? Yeah, he's getting real dark here. I mean, this is the guy, again, we've established Section 31, right? But it's again using I need to make sure that everything works okay for the war I'm involved in, right? These guys, right? And he's secretly orchestrating all these events involving Khan in this movie and the imminent war with the Klingons to further enable Starfleet's military capabilities, right? He's a warmonger. He wants it. That's what he wants. And it's just like he wants all the trappings. He wants to, be on the high ground. He wants to snuff out his enemies. It's all about, I must destroy my enemies, right? That is not a mindset that does well. And it always leads to ruin, right? And yeah, he's not a good guy. So it is kind of a toss up, right, between him and Cartwright. Who's the worst, right? Maybe let them cage fight in a room full of like rabid alligators and see who wins. I don't know, but
along with Jim, Marcus doesn't call any, or Cartwright doesn't call anybody son.
Yeah. But it's that old rich guy thing, right? I mean, old rich guys do that all the time. Well, son, you have to understand. I mean, it's just like from the Southern politicians' playbook, right? Sorry, Southern politicians, but most of you suck. At least most of the men do. Sorry, ladies, you need to take over. But yeah, so yeah.
All right, what do you think, David?
Yeah, Section 31, no good, all evil. That's it.
And yet they're part of the Federation Charter.
Yeah. It kind of makes me want to go back and watch this movie again, though, because it's so well shot. I mean, the cinematography is really. I didn't hate this movie. I was bummed that I'm like, when it turned out that it was a remake of Khan, I was bummed. I'm like, that's the plot. I mean, because we don't need that, right? But what a great cast, and in Peter Weller to boot. I mean, I just wish they'd had a fresher concept, right? But gorgeous looking cinematography. My God.
Well, I was also a big fan of Khan, the actor who played Khan at the time. So I was actually enjoying
Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Yep. I was a big fan of
He's
his
great.
at that
He's really
time.
good.
Yes.
I don't fault the cast, or I just wish they'd had a fresher premise and not have to recycle again, right? Because it's just, we don't need to see that again.
It's true.
We've been there.
But I think it was an interesting interpretation of Khan.
All right. Plus, the Vengeance is probably one of the coolest looking Federation ships ever of all time, but that's my opinion. All right, that was Admiral number 5, Admiral Marcus from the Kelvin timeline. Thank you, Peter Weller, for being so awesome. Here is our last Admiral. Roll a tape, David.
Well, it's not hard to guess. They tried to shut down an experiment they didn't understand. Something went wrong and it killed them.
No. We killed them.
Now, that doesn't sound like the same man who grabbed a phaser and defended his captain 12 years ago.
I've had 12 years to think about it. And if I had it to do over again, I would have grabbed the phaser and pointed it at you instead of them.
So, on reflection, you'd rather be a traitor than a hero.
I wasn't a hero, and neither were you. What you did was wrong, and I was wrong to support you, but I was too young and too stupid to realize it. You were the captain, I was the ensign. I was just following orders.
And if you hadn't, you'd be dead right now, along with all the rest of them. Dead because you listened to a bunch of mutinous cowards who were too blinded by fear to see what I was trying to do.
They were brave enough to risk their lives to stop you from violating a treaty the Federation signed in good faith.
That treaty has bound our hands and given the Romulans a tactical advantage for the last 60 years. I was simply trying to level the playing field.
And now you want to try it again? How many people will die this time? 50? 100? 1,000?
All right, you don't want to help me, fine. But you are still under my direct orders not to talk about what you know, and I expect you to follow those orders to the letter. I made you, mister, and I can break you just as easily. Do you understand me, Commander?
The guards are away, team. Prepare to return to the ship immediately.
Stand by, Enterprise. Pressman to Enterprise. 2 people and 1 piece of equipment to beam up.
Oh man, do I love the Pegasus. This is such a great episode of Next Generation. We get Admiral Eric Pressman here, who has some history with Riker, and we sort of see how that plays out, how Ensign Riker is kind of almost guilty about the things, or excuse me, now Commander Riker is guilty about the things he did as an ensign. So is Eric Pressman actually evil here, Paul? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, it's we really are uncovering a theme with these guys here because it keeps coming up, right? He's very obsessive, right? And he wants to resurrect this experiment, right? I mean, not that dissimilar from what we just saw with Marcus, right? But a lot of them, what I see as the unifying theme of their behavior is their goal is to protect the Federation. Right, that seems to be this thing. I must protect the Federation. Right, we can't lose if there's a war. I must protect the Federation. Right, and it just leads them astray. Right, and it's like, and also you see a lot of this kind of Romulan paranoia. Right, which I think is probably reflecting on like Manzanar and Japanese internment. Right, but yeah, it's just the bad mojo from back in the day when there was earlier conflicts with the Romulans. Right, it just really creates this xenophobic hatred, right? And we must forever do whatever is necessary to protect the Federation, right? So I mean, it's is it a very nuanced performance, right? He really gets in over his head, and he's kind of I mean, I think at the end of the day, kind of he succumbed to his worst instincts, right? And he is I think probably is amoral enough that he is, you got to think of him evil, but it's one of the great performances ever in Next Gen, right? Terry O'Quinn is just so great. If you ever want to see what this guy's capable of beyond, like, say, Lost, check out a horror movie called The Stepfather that Terry O'Quinn was in. Oh my God, it'll blow your mind out. It is great. He is just so great because he's so likable in parts of this episode. Hey, Will, remember Ben? And it was okay, and I'm just a good guy. And one piece of equipment to beam up, please. I mean, he's just, there's moments where you're like, just like him. It's a great role, a really, really, really good performance, and I think he does a great job of showing how complicated evil can be, right? So, fascinating work, and just got to say, this has been a really great theme for tonight's episode. Is really been a catalyst for some fun conversation. But that's enough of my talking.
Cool. Thanks, Paul. And I know you got to go a little early, so thanks for joining us.
I apologize.
Yeah, no problem, man. We will catch up with you next week.
Thanks, fellas.
Beam back later, Paul.
All right, David, do you want to go next on this one? Is Eric Pressman an evil admiral?
Well, so there was this whole thing about the Romulans, yes, and with any empire, it's really I can't really imagine what it would be like to run an empire when you have other empires out there that are just like constantly wanting to wipe you off the face of the galaxy, basically. And honestly, I can see his point. I honestly can. I mean, that treaty that they made with Romulan back 60-some years ago, it was then that they agreed to, not probably when the Romulan Earth War ended, per se. I mean, didn't they mention that the Romulan War lasted for hundreds of years? And so that treaty with Algernon probably took place to finally end that war, and then they decided to draw a border or whatever and everything like that. But honestly, 60 years ago for a treaty that long ago probably means that the Romulans had gotten better technology to even, like the face cloaking, for instance, to get beyond the Federation's cloaking mechanism to detect them and stuff. So I would imagine that he's trying to make sure that the Romulans don't get a better advantage against them. So technically, I can see his point. And if he's evil, so he was probably evil in that one category, like Paul said. He was frustrated with the sequence and the stuff that was happening. But I don't really think he's evil. I mean, even before all this, he he had a lot of sense of being honorable and, you know, all this kind of fun stuff. So the idea that he had this agenda that he had going, I don't know. To be honest, I don't think he was evil. I think he's not really good either. But I mean, yeah, I honestly don't think he was actually all that evil.
What do you think, Charles?
Okay. You sit there and have your oath of office as an officer to respect the law, I would say the laws of the Federation, but the Constitution of the Federation and all its contents. And one of them is the Treaty of Algiers. This is the pronunciation. Algeron. Which one helped to end our, I saw it in memory albums like 160 years ago, 160 years prior had been the Romulan War. But this created the neutral zone, and this created the peace, a respected peace between the Romulans and the Federation. And TNG, you notice we didn't really have a lot of conflicts with the Romulans. They were out there, but we weren't having big major wars with them. We were mostly at peace with them. And this one admiral wants to sit there and pass around cloaking devices so we can sit there and break the Federation treaty and maybe go back to war with the Romulans. I'm not sure. I think the Federation wanted to go back to war with the Romulans, especially when the Romulans were there to help us when we went to the next war during Dominions. So I think he definitely.
I mean, that's a great, Charles, just that what you just said right there, to me, I think there's a lot of similarities between this scenario and In the Pale Moonlight, which is, you know, the bad things Cisco does to bring the Romulans into the war. Absolutely.
Yes. But it's definitely, I think this was an evil admiral because you're trying to break treaties and sit there and bring war to the Federation. No. A good admiral would not be sitting there ready to start war with the Romulans. In fact, I think that would be an interesting Star Trek show, movie, or something where we go back and talk about that early war. Because that's probably been in the novels only.
There was a good fan film about it too, but yeah, I would love to see that in canon for sure.
Yes.
All right, Jim, you got the caboose on this one. You are muted, buddy.
I think that first of all, I think he's milked too many space cows. Just like he's milked one too many space cow. Of all the admirals we have seen, I think he's the least evil of them all because he's not sacrificing millions of people. He's not directly violating the Prime Directive. What he's doing is he's violating a treaty with the Romulans to develop a phased cloaking device that he feels will protect the Federation. Whereas a lot of the other admirals, that we have talked about tonight, were openly and blatantly violating Federation laws. This guy is violating a treaty. He's not murdering people. He's not relocating people. He's just doing something underhanded and backwards. He's stabbing people in the back, and he's pulling Riker into it. And I think this is a great opportunity for Riker. We learn a lot about Riker in this particular episode. So I don't think he's evil like the other admirals are. I think that he's misled in his desire to protect the Federation. And as far as cloaking goes, let's be fair about this. The Federation's ability to see through cloaking devices, I think, keeps pace with the Romulans and the Klingons' ability to create cloaking devices. So I think it's just a one-ups thing here. And even if he did develop this phase cloaking thing, how long would it be before the Romulans, came up with a super phase whatever? So technology is always leapfrogging. So, to violate your oath for technology is a bad thing. Is he evil? I don't think so. So that's my take.
Right on. All right, guys. Well, thank you for that Evil Admirals discussion. I hope you had fun talking about these 6 Evil Admiral. I tend to agree with you all on Eric Pressman, probably the least evil of all the admirals we talked about. Of course, folks, this is just Starfleet Admirals Part 1, so you can look forward to other Admirals discussions on future Trek Talking podcasts. Thank you so much. All right, Jim, you got the mic back now, buddy.
All right, guys. Well, you know what time it is now? I bet you do. It's time for this.
That was not a Klingon song.
All right, guys. This is the part of the show where we go over our Star Trek birthdays, and we always start off by remembering those members of our Star Trek family who, sadly enough, are no longer with us. And for that, we're going to turn to Eric, and Eric is going to do our remembrances, and he's also going to have the rare opportunity to do some live birthdays as well. So, Eric, take it away, buddy.
You got it, Jim. This week we're going to remember 3 members of our Star Trek community who have gone before us. The first is actor Rhodes Reason. Rhodes Reason was an actor who played Flavius in the original series' 2nd season episode Bread and Circuses. His career spanned nearly 40 years, and he actually appeared in over 230 roles in television, movie, and stage. Some of the films that Reason appeared in include Tension at Table Rock with DeForest Kelley, Kat Mertil and the Silks from 1976. He also appeared in the television movie A Sensitive, Passionate Man. You may have never heard of those, but those were big time at the time that they were released. In fact, in 1956, he filmed a half-hour TV pilot in which he and John Smith played commercial divers named respectively Tom Gorman and Mike Gilbert. This afforded him ample opportunities for beefcake shots because, just look at this guy. He's built. So, unfortunately, we lost Rhodes way back in 2014 at the ripe old age of 84 years old. He was born April 19th, 1930. Happy birthday to Rhodes Reason. Happy birthday as well to Jill Dorothy Ireland, the English actress who played Layla Kalomi in the TOS first season episode This Side of Paradise. She started her entertainment career at age 16 as a dancer and made her credited screen debut in 1955 in Michael Powell's Oh, Rosalinda, after having a big part in another movie. Years later, she married David McCallum, and from 1968 until her death, she was married to Charles Bronson, another guy. You see a nice photo of them together there in the video that David's put together. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with breast cancer back in 1984. Ended up writing about her battle and becoming an advocate for the American Cancer Society, which led to the organization giving her its Courage Award. We lost her at the young age from that problem of only 54 years old back in 1990. Jill Dorothy Ireland was born April 24th, 1936. Happy birthday to her. And happy birthday, last but not least on our remembrance list, to Judy Leavitt. She's the actress who appeared in 3 Star Trek films, was also the wife of TOS star Walter Koenig, whom she married in 1965, and of course then, by that same token, the mother of the Star Trek Deep Space Nine guest star Andrew Koenig. So her 3 roles were as a Mercy Hospital doctor in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. She was a Starfleet Command Admiral in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. In fact, we saw her in that last scene that we were just looking at with Admiral Cartwright. And she also played an Elarian survivor in Star Trek Generations. She also had several bit parts in other projects her husband worked on, including 2 appearances as a Psi-Cop on Babylon 5 and as a space shuttle commander in 1989's Moontrap, one of those rare Roger Moore James Bond films. She had a few minor roles in a few other movies and television episodes, including 2 episodes of Mission Impossible along the way. We lost Judy Leavitt back in 2022 at the age of 83 years old. Her birthday is April 24th, 1939. Happy birthday, Judy Leavitt. And that does it for our remembrances this week, guys. So I'm going to pass this flaming birthday candle over to Charles.
Oh, thank you, Eric. Let's start off with a happy birthday to Mike Gomez, who played two different Ferengi. Damon Tarr in Star Trek Next Generation first season episode The Last Outpost, and Damon Lurin in the 6th season episode Rascals. Happy birthday to Robert Hooks, actress who played Admiral Morrow in Star Trek III The Search for Spock. Oh, I think we talked about the Admiral earlier tonight. So happy birthday, Robert, even though you are an evil admiral. Happy birthday to Ian Alexander, American actor and Twitch streamer who plays Grey Tal in the 3rd and 4th seasons of Star Trek Discovery. Great to have Ian in Discovery. I think he was a good choice of adding some diversity into Discovery. Happy birthday to James Dolly, actress who portrayed Valeria in Star Trek The Next Generation 3rd season episode The Most Toys, which we definitely discuss later on in Lower Decks. Happy birthday to Rod Loomis, who played Paul Mannheim in TNG's first season episode We'll Always Have Paris. Best known for playing Sigmund Freud in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. And then I got a big one. A very big, warm, happy birthday to George Takei, Japanese-American actor best known for his role as Hakura Sulu in Star Trek franchise. In the TV series, in the animated series, in all the TOS movies. Also very well known as his work in Broadway. We have talked about his book about the internment of the Japanese in World War II, and for a little while, well known as being called Uncle George. As in early years in Facebook, he was a big activist and did a lot of discussions, stirred up a lot of stuff, and wrote a couple of good books about it. So happy birthday, George. We are so happy you are still with us. I'm going to take this flaming candle, leave it back to Eric. And don't burn your fingers.
All right. See if I can hold it just a little bit longer. We'd like to say happy birthday this week to an amazing musician and actress, Ashley Judd, the actress who played Robin Leffler in the TNG 5th season episodes Darmok and The Game. I think it was we all thought it was a real treat to see her show up in Star Trek, and kind of a surprise at the time. So born April 19th, 1968, happy birthday to Ashley Judd. Happy birthday as well to Eleanor Donahue, the American actress who played Nancy Hedford in the TOS 2nd season episode Metamorphosis, one of those episodes that I think sometimes people forget about, but she made real contributions to Star Trek. She was also born on April 19th, but way back in 1937, and she is still with us. Happy birthday, Eleanor. Happy birthday as well to, can I say a titan of film? I think I can. Clint Howard, who, has been in a million things. He played in Star Trek, of course, played Baylock in the TOS first season episode, The Corbomite Maneuver. He also played Grady in Deep Space Nine's 3rd season episodes, Past Tense Part 2. He also played Mook in Enterprise's first season episode, Acquisition, and a creepy Orion in Discovery's first season episode, Will You Take My Hand? But that's not it. There's one more. He also played Buck Martinez in Strange New Worlds' second season episode Under the Cloak of War. Man, this guy has been all over Star Trek, and it's been fun to see him showing up over and over again, because I think we are all pretty familiar with the Corbomite maneuver and still think of him in that sort of child guise. But of course, we've seen him so many more times as a fully grown adult person. Not that he wasn't an adult at that time, but but yeah. Happy birthday to Clint Howard. And thank you so much for all your Star Trek contributions. Your birthday was April 20th. Happy birthday as well to a pop star with a very apropos last name. Iggy Pop is the stage name of James Newell Osterberg Jr., a rock singer, songwriter, and occasional actor who appeared as Yelgrin, one of our fun little Vorta here in the DS9 sixth season episode, The Magnificent Ferengi. I remember seeing his face for the first time and going like, wait, is that Iggy Pop? That is Iggy Pop, son of a gun. And then sure enough, his name was in the credits. So Iggy Pop, thank you so much for forcing your way onto the Star Trek set. We really appreciate that you were part of the franchise, buddy. Happy birthday to you. You were born on April 21st. Happy birthday as well to Gabrielle Damon, the actor who at the age of 13 years old played Jeremy Astor in TNG's third season episode, The Bondig. I thought he did a great job in this. And in fact, he was born only in 1976. So what is that? I think he's just turning 50 this year. So Gabrielle Damon, thank you so much for your Star Trek contributions in that fantastic episode. Happy birthday as well to Kate Vernon, the actress who played a member of Species 8472 impersonating Commander Valerie Archer in the Voyager 5th season episode, In the Flesh, another dark horse of Voyager's episodes. Not too shabby at all, and Kate Vernon is one of the key components of that episode. Happy birthday to you, also born April 21st. And last but not least on Paul's list, my list tonight, is the fantastic and prolific actor Jack Quaid, one of our newer Star Trek members. He's the actor who voices Brad Boimler, our purple-haired friend in Star Trek Lower Decks. He reprised this role in live action in the Star Trek Strange New Worlds second season episode, Those Old Scientists. And if you have not seen him play that part, you should give it a go, because him and Tawny Newsome together are just as good live as they are animated. Jack Quaid, born April 24th, 1992. That feels like just yesterday to me. I don't know. But happy birthday to him. So that does it for that list. And Jim, you're bringing up the caboose on the birthdays here, buddy.
Absolutely. And I like to do the Klingons last. My first birthday is not a Klingon. He's a Vulcan. We want to say happy birthday to Vaj Potenza, the actor who played Spock at age 13 in Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. He's from New York City, New York, and now he works primarily behind the camera. Why did I do him when he's not a Klingon? Because we had him on this podcast, and he was so much fun to talk to. Major sci-fi fan. We talked about Logan's Run, Battle Beyond the Stars, Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers. He was great to talk to. So go over to trektalking.com and find the podcast with him and listen to it, because he was awesome. Happy birthday. And now we're going to get to some Klingons. We want to say Kapla to Alan Oppenheimer, the Emmy Award-nominated actor who appeared as Koreth in TNG's sixth season episode, The Rightful Heir. He also played Captain Kehoe in DS9's second season episode, The Jem'Hadar. He was the captain of the USS Odyssey, the Galaxy-class starship that bit the dust. He also appeared as Nazu Ambassador in the Voyager third season episode, The Rise. Happy birthday to Alan Oppenheimer. We also want to say Kapla and happy birthday to Lisa Lucero. She played the role of Ensign Muriel Paris in the Star Trek Voyager 7th season episode, Endgame. I'm not sure if that character is real or not, because Janeway reset the whole future. So does she still exist, or doesn't
Well,
she
she
exist?
exists in people's memories, right? So
yeah,
that means she was real. It just
yeah,
doesn't actually exist. I don't know. That whole thing is kind of weird.
yeah, but we're going to wish her a happy birthday anyways. And last on my list is Robert DeCue from Oklahoma. He's the actor who played Nagora in Star Trek Deep Space Nine's 4th season episode, The Sons of Moog. And there he is on the screen right there. Qapla' to Robert. And that wraps up our Star Trek birthdays. And now it's time for our Star Trek news.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Incoming transmission.
Enter authorization code. Command codes verified. Define parameters of program. Level 9 authorization required. Specify parameters. Transfer of data is complete. Blank alert. Blank alert.
All right, Eric, take it away, buddy. You've got our first news story.
All right, this is a bit of information that I got so excited about. I immediately sent it to the group and then realized that it wasn't really the premiere. But it's kind of the premiere. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 3 to premiere at the Tribeca Festival 2025. That's not for us, but maybe we'll get it soon afterwards. The 2025 Tribeca Film Festival announced its lineup of television and original independent episodic series. The festival, which takes place from June 4th to 15th in New York City, showcases highly anticipated world premieres of new and returning programs, along with exclusive panels featuring select cast members from major networks and streamers. Among its lineup, the 3rd season of Star Trek Strange New Worlds will premiere on June 14th. Following the Season 3 world premiere, Tribeca will host a conversation with Anson Mount, Ethan Peck, Celia Rose Gooding, Babs Olusanmokun, Carol Kane, and executive producers Alex Kurtzman, Akiva Goldsman, and Henry Alonzo Myers. An exciting twist on classic Star Trek, Season 3 takes characters both new and beloved to new heights and dives into thrilling adventures of faith, duty, romance, comedy, and mystery, with varying genres never before seen on any Star Trek. So I am super excited that it's at least going to be shown on somebody's screen on June 14th. And I believe, as Charles indicated in our group chat, we often will see the thing premiere in the United States soon afterwards. So we're all keeping our fingers crossed. Maybe a couple weeks after that, we've gotten confirmation it's going to be over in Europe in August, but we think we're going to get it about a month before that. So we'll have to see.
Yep.
All right, Charles. I think we got just enough time to squeeze you in here, too.
All right. Star Trek, very special Strange New Worlds, episode 404 wraps filming. Director Axel Carroll confirmed that filming on Paramount Star Trek Strange New Worlds episode 404 has officially wrapped. After learning that the 3rd season would be dropped this summer with the release of a new teaser, we're checking out how things are going with filming on the 4th season. Director Axel Carolyn, American Horror Story double feature Haunting Bly Manor, has been dropping updates and very interesting teases about season's 4th episode, referring to it as being a very special episode. Carolyn offers a heartfelt post about their experiences working in the Star Trek universe, and has also confirmed that filming on the episode has wrapped. What an honor to join the Star Trek family and to be a tiny part of the history of the greatest sci-fi franchise of all times. Huge thank to Chris, Henry, and Akiva, as well as the whole cast and crew for welcoming me so warmly. Episode 4, Season 4 of Star Trek Strange New World is a wrap. My heart is full. Live long and prosper. In Season 3, we reconnect with the crew of the USS Enterprise. They face the conclusion of Season 2's harrowing encounter with the Gorn. But new life and civilization await, including a villain that will test the character's grit and resolve.
All right, so there we have a little bit of update on Strange New World.
It's so weird to be talking about Season 4 when we haven't even seen Season 3 yet, but I'm so excited that we've got 2 more coming.
Yep.
Yeah, that is awesome. So, guys, I just want to remind you that our Star Trek and Beyond is back, and there's our brand new logo. Notice it's been updated a little bit. Star Destroyer and a Viper from Battlestar Galactica, the Enterprise D, the Millennium Falcon. And what's that little one?
Serenity.
And there's another little ship in there.
Oh yeah, and there's a TARDIS in there
A
too.
TARDIS in there, yeah. Doctor Who. Hey, the TARDIS, Doctor Who. Because we did talk about Doctor Who when we covered the whole season when they got the lady doctor on there. That was my
Jodie
first
Whittaker.
Doctor Who.
Yep.
So we're going to be expanding and talking about more sci-fi. So it was time to update our banner, and there it is right there. You can see it on our Facebook page, Trek Talking and Beyond. Go and check it out. So with that in mind, what are we going to be talking about next week, Eric?
Oh, next week we get to start our Andor March. So this week we got the drop of episodes 1 through 3 of Andor Season 2. And I believe for the next month, for the next 4 weeks, we're going to be talking about Andor, 3 episodes every week. And so, here's your spot, man. Come and see what we thought about it.
That's right. We're going to be talking about Star Wars, and my daughter Jamie is going to be joining us for that as well. So we will have a female perspective on the podcast.
Yo, hey Jim, will this be live so other people can join?
Well, it's supposed to be live right now. I got to figure out what happened. My computer screen says that we are live.
Yeah,
but
mine does too.
Yeah, it says live, but I can't find the link. I don't know where it went. I linked it to Facebook, but I don't see it there. I'll figure it out. But at any rate, we're going to be talking about Andor, guys. So you want to tune in and check that out. So I want to say thank you so much to Paul for hanging out and Trek Talking with us. He had to bounce early. Thank you, Paul. And thank you so much to Eric for hanging out and putting together the Evil Admirals show. Thank you so much, Eric.
Absolutely. That was a blast. Glad you guys had fun.
It was.
Thanks, David, for all your work, too.
And, of course, thank you to Charles for hanging out and Trek Talking with us tonight. Thank you, Charles. I love the waving palm trees in the background.
Great job, Eric. Good show. Great job.
Very good. Very good. It's always great when the work is taken off of me and put on someone else. Oh. And, of course, thank you so much to David for everything you did, for working up all these great graphics and the great videos. You're definitely the miracle worker. Thanks for Trek Talking with us, and thanks for everything that you do.
Yeah, that was really fun, guys. Sorry about the beginning, Eric. I don't know what happened. My
We figured it out, man. It was all good.
But yeah, it was great fun. I enjoyed it.
All right, guys. And as usual, I'm your most excellent host, Uncle Jim, saying, please remember, Star Trek fans are the best fans. Sci-fi fans are the best fans. How's that? That sounds a little better. Thank you for being a fan. And please, everybody, be good to each other and stay safe. Hailing frequencies are closed. Live long and prosper.
Night, y'all.
Good night.
All stations,
Ready for departure, sir.
some problem, Riker?
Just hoping this isn't the usual way our missions will go, sir.
Oh, no, number one. I'm sure most will be much more interesting. Let's see what's out there. Engage.